I'm Mahaveer and I'm discussing on teenage parenting. In last couple of videos, you must have seen on teenage parenting how it's an important phase of life between childhood and adulthood, which are the four A's in teenage parenting: argumentative, alone, arrogance, and anger. So all these four form a distinct personality of a teenager. Some of teenagers may be angry, some may be arrogant, some may be argumentative, or some may be alone and trying to find themselves. And in the last video number three, I spoke on what are the you know proven techniques and tips to have a better relationship with teenage parenting. Right. So in this video, I will subsequently talk on last three important tips on teenage parenting. And if you are a parent and you have a preteen or a teenager, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'll be sharing a lot of useful nuggets, information, concepts on parenting, on teenage parenting, kid studies, screen time, and a lot of areas on parenting. Right. So let's begin our discussion, or I would say three tips, the last three tips in terms of teenage parenting and how we can develop that good relationship with our teenager, right? Because this part is like a trickier part of our parenting, right? Till they were child and they were growing preteen, it was fine. But the moment they hit teenager, there is complete different behavior, correct? So these three tips, which are first is I would say always, always ask them. Do not be prescriptive, right? Instead, the best way to do is ask questions like ask your teenager, can I suggest you something? Can I recommend you this thing? I think this will work. So be suggestive, don't be instructive. Right? The moment you say that, can I suggest you? I think this will work. Do you want some help? Do you want some help? So these are questions when you ask your teenager, they find wow, mom and dad, mommy or papa are available to me because they're asking whether I want any help. They're recommending if I ask any recommendation that I want, they can give recommendation. So first is ask questions in terms of if they want any help or suggest something which you think that this may work. So that particular stand, that particular platform, if you have that you're not instructing, but actually you're trying to help them out, it will help a lot in terms of your relationship with teenager, and there will not be a typical tussle which happens between you and teenager. Right. Point number two. Point number two: do not compare. Tip number two: do not compare, and never ever say that when I was a teenager, in my times, because you absolutely are wrong in comparing your lifetime and their lifetime because actually things are different. We are in digital age now, and your time when you're a teenager, there is no mobile, internet, nothing. So things have absolutely changed. Things have absolutely changed. So never ever say that in my time I was like this as a teenager, and look at what you are doing now as a teenager. So do not compare. But the moment you compare, the child always feel, and they always have that feeling that my parents do not understand me. My parents don't understand me. And the moment you make this statement, like in my time I was like this, they are going to stamp it very clearly that my mom does not understand me, my dad does not understand me, because you are telling that statement that okay, you are better, but they are not good, they are not better, right? When you make the statement that in my time I was doing this and you are not doing this, so that is where they feel that that I'm not good, and my parents were good because they're comparing their time. And they also know, you also know that there's no point comparing your time and their time in terms of teenage part of their life, right? So do not do this. Do not do this. We subconsciously do it because it is again part of our programming which is there. So avoid this. Tip number two: don't compare your childhood versus their. In fact, try to go deeper and try to understand what are the struggles they are going through. What are the struggles they are going through? Are you aware of them? Put yourself in the shoes of the teenager, and not only putting your feet in the shoes, walk for a mile. When you walk for a mile, you'll realize that their challenges, their struggles are absolutely different from what you faced in your time, right? So it's important that you be there in their shoes, walk a mile, understand their struggle, right? And last tip I want to share with you, last tip I want to share with you is beautiful tip and works wonder, which is appreciate. Appreciate your teenager. And we parents somehow have that again subconscious programming, or I would say default setting. We feel that When kids grow up, I do not appreciate them because now they need to be strong. There's a myth that we should not appreciate kids, especially when they're growing, because by appreciating you may make them weak. We do not make them weak. So appreciate your teenager because a pat on the back that you have done a good job in terms of household chores or studies or whatever areas, extracurricular, painting, drawing, singing, any of this, if you give a pat on the back, appreciate them, teenager will love this and feel, wow, my mommy likes my painting, my dad likes my, drawing, or he likes my reading. And if your kid is good in reading, appreciate that. There are so many things your kids, teenager may be good in. So appreciate your teenager and don't be conditional in your appreciation. That only when your teenager passes their 8th or ninth or 10th exam in 98%, then we appreciate. Do not put conditions in terms of their appreciation. Be wholehearted. A lot of wonderful things your teenager is doing. Appreciate those things. Appreciate those things. And when you start appreciating, they'll realize that yes, my mommy or papa are observing something good in me as a teenager. And that's where the magic will start in terms of their understanding that, wow, now it's not about always bickering and having that conflict or the arguments, but they truly appreciate for the small things I'm doing as a teenager, right? So to summarize three things, in fact, these are the last three things. To summarize three things, one is one is which I mentioned is that don't be instructive. In fact, be suggestive. Be suggestive. That will go a long way because the moment you're suggestive, you are telling that okay, you can try to do this way. Right. Number two is don't compare. Don't compare your teenage life versus this teenage life. Absolutely things are different. And last is appreciate. When you appreciate, kids realize, teenagers realize that there's something good in you, which the teenager feel that there's something good in me, which my parents have realized, right? And these are the three things which I mentioned you. If you understand this and start implementing, it will have a magical effect in your relationship with your teenager, right? I hope you like this video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the link below, and I will be sharing a lot of useful content on parenting, on study, on habits, on so many areas which is required for this generation because a lot of things have changed in this time, last 5 to 10 years, especially last 1 year plus, where we need to understand these are things which are working in parenting. It's teenage parenting, or preteen parenting, or general parenting apps, right? I hope you like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.